Yeah, I would love to keep talking to you, but do you know what? It's time to communicate. I'll tell you about it later.
I be hustling, I stay hustling, I be hustling, what a cost is.
Hey, I am Jackson360. I'm your platform partner. I am your hustling homie. And this is Communication Skills Worth Millions. And I want to talk with you, yes, you who are looking at me right now and paying attention, because you want to use communication to grow your career, to grow your life, and really be able to impact the world in a more deeper, impactful way. And so I want to share with you kind of a mindset that can help you, and you can overcome some of the mental barriers that's probably stopping you from doing more speaking, and stops most people from going out, getting in front of the cameras, getting in front of these crowds. And I want to share with you, how can you overcome some of those mental barriers that you are probably facing. This is kind of a rant, but more so, this is an intervention for you. If someone says, hey, why don't you come out and speak at my event? Many times we think we have to give some spectacular, amazing performance, and that's a myth. One myth is that you have to be exciting and set people's hair on fire and motherfuckers going crazy. You don't have to do that. Most effective speakers that are consistent, they don't always do that. The second thing is there's a myth that people believe that you have to give people a bunch of information they don't already know. That's a myth too. Most information that people are learning, guess what? 80% of it is going to be information that they've already heard in some capacity. You may just be presenting it in a slightly different way. Most of it is already recycled information because it's nothing new that's under the sun. Another myth that people have is that at the end of the day, you have to really be the biggest expert and you have to know every single thing and have all of this recognition and credibility in a specific space for you to go out and speak in that area. That is also a myth. It's not true, man. It's not true. When you're doing speaking engagements, there's levels to speaking engagements. Everything from you doing workshops that can be 2 hours long. If you're just doing a seminar event where it's only usually an hour long, you only may speak for 15 minutes. Maybe you may speak for an hour in some situations. That's very rare. There's only a few things that speakers really do. One thing is teach. You're always a teacher. I don't care if people say, hey, we want you to come to the high school and talk to the kids, or we want you to come out to our business and organization and talk to people about conflict resolution, or talk to them about your process towards writing a book. You're always teaching. So that's the first thing to keep in mind, is what can I teach someone? What is maybe an obstacle, a problem that I was facing that I learned the answer to, and now I can instruct people on how to stay dedicated to that process. PAID, paid. See what I just did there? That's the paid formula. That's how you teach people. PAID, you find a problem that you found the answer to, and you instruct people how to apply answers to those problems, and D, stay dedicated to that process. Now they can get paid. So you're a teacher in essence. So anytime you get caught up and you're like, what should I talk about? It doesn't matter what the topic is. Someone says, hey, people want to know about herbs and spices and natural remedies that can heal themselves. Okay, once you teach people on 3 herbs and spices and 3 things they need to avoid, misconceptions when using herbs and spices, and 3 things they maybe didn't know about when it comes to their own mental health. And all of this is based on studies that you have found. You're just teaching, you're instructing people, okay? So that's a very simple way to kind of take away some of the anxiety. If you know, hey, I'm just gonna teach people 3 things. I'm gonna teach them something. I'm gonna share some information with them. Now, that's the first thing that all speakers are pretty much doing. And now the second thing is you have people that are persuading. Now, even when you're persuading and you're trying to sell something, you're still teaching. There's many teachable moments that you're going to get, because you have to educate people on certain statistics. You're going to educate people on why they should do this right now, and they need to know the statistics behind that. They need to know these type of things. So even when you're persuading, and you have to, and I know some people are afraid to give a persuasive speech, but persuasive speeches are actually some of the easiest speeches to give, especially if you're talking about something that you really believe in, because a great persuasive speaker is not trying to persuade and convince the audience. What they're doing is they're showing the audience that they're already convinced, and then the audience can make their own decision. Something to think about. The last part, storytelling. Everyone is always storytelling. I don't care if you are a teacher, you're going to tell stories to illustrate your point so people understand. If you're persuading and selling people and trying to convince them to buy into what you're saying, you're still telling stories about, hey, so one morning I woke up and I was, going through a lot of pain. My stomach was hurting. I had bumped my big toe. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to lay in the bed and give up. But then you know what? I looked in the corner and guess what I saw? My book. Yeah, my book, Shut Up and Hustle. That same book that you can get as well. And I opened up the book and I looked, and the book told me, it said, you know what? You will encounter problems, but every problem, every piece of garbage has a gift. So don't overlook the gift inside of the garbage. I applied that, and guess what? Boom, my day got better. I went outside, I found $20 on the ground. Boom. You see how I just told a quick story right there? And I found the $20, but then and guess what? Now my neighbor was looking at me. That's when the phone rang. Hello. Now I'm going to tell you how that phone call changed my life in one moment. But before we do that, let's take a small commercial break. I'll talk about storytelling elements in another video. But for now, just know storytelling is what all speakers do. So you want to master the art of telling a story. That's how you capture attention, keep it, move it along. And it's something that is, all humans love a story, whether they're watching movies, listening to music. It's a way to get people emotionally involved in just about anything you're saying, which is why all commercials are filled with stories, whether they be humorous, dramatic, they're all stories. A story is always more powerful than just a speech alone. Keep that in mind. So even if you're an entertainer, you're a comedian, you're going on stage, you're still telling jokes. I mean, not jokes. You should be telling jokes, but you're still telling stories, okay? Now, so keep that in mind. When you're going to speak at your next event, even if you're giving an informative speech and you're just giving people information about 3 things they need to know, 5 things they need to know when it comes to a certain topic. Remember, you're always teaching people, or you're persuading people, right? Even if you're giving them information, you're giving a little bit of persuasion. And the way that you persuade is by you being convinced in yourself about what you're saying, not trying to convince them. And then, like I said, lastly, you're always using little elements to tell stories. Even if it's a quick story, it doesn't have to be a long story. It could be literally a 15-second story, a 30-second story. I'll have a video where I post up specifics about how to tell different stories in different situations that are quick and to the point. So make sure y'all look out for that video as well. But I hope this helps. It's a general mindset. Just know that when you're speaking, some people just want to know your process. It's not about if you have the perfect information or you have new information. 80% of the stuff they've already heard anyway. But they just want to know your process that's unique to you so that they can find one thing. Most leaders just want one thing they can find to apply that's new that they maybe have not been doing lately. And some people are okay with being reminded of a message that they already know because it has to hit them at the right time from the right person in the right way. So with that being said, never turn down stage time. Never turn down stage time, period, especially if you're a beginning speaker. Of course, if they're not paying you right, then you can turn that down, or you can negotiate to get your money right. That's why you want to write a book and have a school or a program, something you can promote to get your money on the back end. But at the end of the day, you always want to be doing those 3 things I just told you. And so you can overcome those barriers, man. Listen, with the next few speeches, look at speaking like an exercise. Every time you do it, it's not about giving the best speech. It's about really just getting better and always going to the gym so you can stay conditioned and sharpen up your skills. The more that you do it, the better you're going to get. So don't compare yourself to some other speakers that you probably see that are amazing. Don't compare yourself to them. Just you do you. And stay true to that, because no one else could be you just like you. So with that being said, subscribe to this page, and I look forward. Before you even subscribe, leave comments. I want to know specifically, what do you do to overcome certain fears or to overcome those mental barriers?
I be hustling.